What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this week's episode of Fight IQ, alright? The long-awaited return. Yeah. To answer all of the UFC fans' questions before we get into the thicker things here, I missed last week's episode. I missed Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill. I missed Ignacio Bahamondes versus Rafael Fiziev, or I don't know why I said Bahamondes like that. Whatever. I missed the card. Right, by the looks of it, it had some cool fights. I missed arguably fight of the year. Not even sure who the guys' names are, right? Because I just didn't look into that fight card at all whatsoever. Right, if we can quickly recap the moments I did see. Fiziev won, Roundtree won. Jamal Hill is a generational bum. So, yeah. I missed the card, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm going to try not to do it moving forward if I can make any excuses. State of Origin Rugby League football, okay, on the Wednesday night. I tend to try and film on Saturdays, Sundays, and I didn't. I didn't because I thought that I'd make time on Monday, but then I got jammed up editing on Monday, and then I couldn't find time Tuesday due to work. And then Wednesday, obviously Punter's Playbook and what's the other thing? Rugby League, State of Origin football. And then Thursday, Friday, I was kind of like, well, is there even a point? Because everyone else has got their inside scoop from other YouTube channels, which is not okay. It's not the attitude to have, right? Because at the end of the day, people come to Fight and Food Insights for my specialized takes, all right? Because we don't pick fights like a normal MMA analysis channel, all right? We did the deep dive. We're looking at the nitty gritty stuff, right? We look at if Trevor Peake had a kid recently, all right, because he's fighting for more than just a paycheck, or if Damian Priest's dad died, or something like that. Obviously, he didn't. I hope that he didn't. But yeah, these are the things I look for when I'm picking fights. All that being said, all right, I went on a generational ramble there. Yeah. Apologies, condolences, whatever. Sorry, guys. It won't happen again. And yeah, let's get into this sick fight card, all right? It's a card, all right? We're not doing little outhouse backyard brawls, all right? This is a UFC 317 Topuria versus Oliveira. I'm going to address a little Jon Jones drama at the end of the video. Set a reminder for me to do that, or else I'll probably forget. But yeah, let's get into it. Start from the bottom, work our way up. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm still not in the UFC grind at the moment, all right? I have seasonal depression when it comes to the UFC, and I'm still not feeling the UFC all that much. So if I make outlandish picks, if I can't pronounce a guy's name, if I don't know who a guy is, it's because I'm not in that UFC scene as much as I was. Does that mean I'm not going to make these videos? You know what I mean? No, I'm still going to show up, and I'm still going to do what needs to be done. Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. Down at welterweight, Nico Price, pretty sure he's coming off a win. Nico Price is a generational. I mean, he's been around since dinosaurs first walked the earth. Let's just say that, all right? Nico Price, I'm not a Nico Price fan. I don't know much about Nico Price, all right? Jacoby Smith, on the other hand, I did a little bit of background, a little bit of a deep dive. Jacoby Smith, 8-0 record or 10-0 record, one of the two. 8-0 record, I think. No, it is 10-0. 10-0 record. I can legit just look. I don't know why I'm trying to guess. 10-0 record. Jacoby Smith, sometimes having a 10-0 record looks great on paper, but who is the people that he's beating up? Are they Nico Prices, right? Or are they, some guy, a plumber or something? Or a garbage truck driver, right? Because Nico Price, as much as he's a bit of a layup for a lot of guys. He is a generational talent, right? He's been around since dinosaurs first walked the earth, and he's seen a few winters, if you will, right? He's watched a few winters from the wall, and Jacoby Smith hasn't. So a lot of people would be picking Jacoby Smith here, man. Young, hungry vet, young, hungry, up-and-coming Jacoby Smith, but I'm going to go from left field. I'm going to pick Nico Price just because he's seen winters, all right? He's outlasted the storm, okay? He's seen the Great Depression. The Great MMA Depression. So I'm going to go Nico Price here. Johanata Diniz, I don't know, versus Alvin Hines. Alvin Hines is one of these blackout fighters. I'm assuming he's coming off the Dana White Contender Series. That's typically what we see with these blackout guys. Know nothing about them. We do know that Johanata Diniz is 8-1. He's 8-1, so he's got a little bit sus. He's got a little substance about him. All right. I have watched a couple Johanata fights. Don't know if I'm saying it right, guys. I'm so sorry. And he has a little bit of substance about him, right? He's, what was his last win? I'm pretty sure his last win was a stock win. Oh, man, he lost to Mycene Tybura. All right, so there's a little bit more on the proving ground for him, but I'm going to back him because I don't know anything about Alvin Hines. I don't know who Alvin Hines is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm picking off what I know, and what I know is this guy's got a picture, and that's what I'm picking. Strigas Dumas versus Jackson McVeigh. Cedricus Dumas, I'm pretty sure I picked him earlier in the year and he did not get the job done. 10-3. I actually don't mind the Cedricus Dumases of the world, By that I mean I just don't mind Cedricus Dumas, alright? He's had some good fights. Yeah, dude, why am I getting all these blackout fighters? I'm not keeping up with the Dana White Contender Series every Wednesday, alright? I'm Australian, so when Dana White Contender Series is on, I'm at work. So I couldn't tell you who Jackson McVeigh is or McVie. Okay, so I'm gonna pick Cedricus Dumas, guys. I'm not gonna hold you up too long in this one. Seems like it could be a good fight. Could be wrong. Terence McKinney versus Vyacheslav Borishev. Who'd Borishev recently lose to? My boy, our boy. Australian generational talent, Tommy Nolan. Tommy Nolan's the big train. Who is quite near and dear to my heart. I actually know one of my good friends was a training partner of, not training partner as in like professional scene, but this is like blue belt jiu-jitsu training partners with, and I'm serious on this one. He's a blue belt training partner with Tommy Nolan. So, I don't know why I'm talking Tommy Nolan now. I just wanted to kind of put myself in there. With a little bit of UFC MMA clout. But Borishev, man, he looked really good in his fight against Tommy Nolan. Tommy Nolan did beat the brakes off of him, but, he's a tough motherfucker. Right? Excuse the language. He's a tough motherfucker. Stop swearing. Terence McKinney, on the other hand, has like some good wins. Like he'll have a generational win, and then he'll get flatlined in his next fight viciously, and I can sort of see Borishev flatlining him because that's how Borishev fights. All right, so I don't hate Terence McKinney. He's got a pretty like lovable face. Like look at that. Look at his face, guys. Look at his face. It just really gives off nice guy, and Borishev gives off terrifying Russian axe murderer. So I'm going to take Borishev on this one. Vivian Arguero, I don't know how to say that name, and Tracy Cortez. Cortez, sorry. I'm going to Tracy Cortez on this one, alright, guys. Yeah. I'm sure it's going to be a war. And I don't have much else to say about this one. Women's flyweight. It'll go to decision. Hyder Emil versus Jose Miguel Delgado. Don't know who either of these guys are, right? But Philippines. Hyder Emil is from the Philippines, so a bit of Manny Pacquiao behind him. Okay. Before I got into Fighting Field Insights, I used to do boxing deep dives. I used to look into boxing tape, and I used to do the deep dives and all the preliminary fighters on boxing cards, okay? And, let me just say, I'm a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. I'm a huge fan of the Fighting Philippines. So I'm gonna Hutter Emil on this one, guys. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I'm sure. The Filipinos, man, the smiling people. So I'm gonna pick Hutter Emil to get the win here. I don't know. I don't know anything about these two. All right, Hutter Emil could be. Oh, dude, he's 11-0. What do you know? He's 11-0. But Jose Miguel Delgado is 9-1. So yeah, could be a bit of a grudge match there. Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodriguez. I actually really like this fight, guys. Jack Hermansson's last outing was against Salty Man Joe Pifes, and he ran away. He stole the heist of the century, essentially. I think he went in there pretty heavy betting underdog. Quickly turned when we realized that Jack Hermansson tortures guys. Jack Hermansson tortures one-dimensional first round fighters, okay? And Gregory Rodriguez, all right, every fight's a new fight, and that's what's interesting about the UFC is every fight can be different. You know, guys can prepare and, you know, they can really understand the matchup they're in. But Gregory Rodriguez, in his last few outings, guess what he's looked like? One-dimensional, one-round fighter, okay? So I honestly, guys, I think Jack Hermansson's going to get this one done. I think Jack Hermansson's going to mix it up really well. Takedowns, like Gregory Rodriguez, he can grapple, right? He can grapple, and he looks like he's got a good base. Yeah, looks like he's really going to plant the feet. But Jack Hermansson, I think, might just, might bip and bop around the outside and mix up the striking a lot better. Distance, play the outside foot battle, get the takedowns, control on the ground. Jack Hermansson, guys, don't be fooled. Jack Hermansson, he's look, I mean, there's not much height difference. Jack Hermansson is still a big middleweight. I don't think Jack Hermansson's going to get weight bullied by Gregory Rodriguez, and I don't think Jack Hermansson's going to get knocked out. I don't know. Gregory Rodriguez, man, he's got a bit of power behind his punches. But I don't know, I'm going to pick Jack Hermansson here, guys. If history ever repeats itself, and it often does, I'm going to say Jack Hermansson, he gets another one rounder. He gets another win. Survives the first round, takes it to the decision, and just mixes up his game and gets the win here, guys. Decision win for Jack Hermansson. Payton Talbott versus Felipe Lima. I don't know too much about this Felipe Lima guy. All right, 14-1, great record. Payton Talbott 9-1. We know what Payton Talbott can do, but we know how Payton Talbott looked against. Just fought Cody Garbrandt, man. What's the guy's name? He was just in my last Fight IQ video. I can't think of his name. Anyway, that's gonna kill me. I can't think of his name, but anyway. Payton Talbott got the socks beaten off him. Just, sort of got fraud checked in the sense that, his grappling wasn't that great. A little bit one-dimensional. His striking is still, I'd assume, to be pretty high level, but a bit one-dimensional in the way of really wasn't there with the grappling. And if this Felipe Lima guy if he's got any grappling chops about him, which it seems like he may just have a wee bit, then, we might see a little bit of a repeat. But Payton Talbott, high level athlete, Frank Ocean's boyfriend. I'm sure he made the adjustments in his grappling game to not let that happen again. But you don't know what's going on behind the scenes with these guys. So I'm gonna go Felipe Lima here, guys. I'm gonna pick against Payton Talbott. All right. I'd like to see Felipe Lima get a win, bro. If Felipe Lima wins this fight, okay, I'm going to be betting a lot on Felipe Lima here. All right, I'm going to be putting the house on a Felipe Lima, and if he gets it done, he's going to be one of my new favorite fighters. Might even lure me back into the sport. Into the main event, I believe Payton Talbott might have kicked us off in the main event. Yes, he definitely did. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Joshua Van having a bit of a generational year. The theme of the video is me just putting generational in front of anything and everything, all right? Joshua Van, I think he's fought once or twice this year already, and he's looked pretty good in majority of his outings. If he's not fought twice, he's fought once this year, once late last year, but we'll just round up and say he's fought twice this year already, and he's going into his third one. He's number 11, ranked number 11, and he's coming in, I'm assuming on short notice, against a Brendan Royval, who's ranked number 1, guys. Brendan Royval, I like Brendan Royval, okay? He brings a bit of chewed, a bit of attitude to the flyweight division, forgive me. Bit of a, he's a bit of a Nate Diaz. Bit of a little Hispanic. Well, I think Nate Diaz is. He's just a little Nate Diaz, all right? He comes in, he's giving people the finger, and he's swearing, and he doesn't. I don't give a shit attitude. I'm gonna go in there. I'm just gonna beat you up, bro. Oh yeah, I got cardio, man. I got cardio. I got a decent black belt. Oh yeah, I got a great 1-2 down the pipe. If you ain't careful, I'm gonna suffocate you. He's got that kind of fight style, all right. Whereas Joshua Van, all rounder, I'm pretty high on Joshua Van. If you've been watching Fight IQs and you've seen me talk about Joshua Van, I like Joshua Van, all right. He's got something about him. He's got something about him. Okay. If Joshua Van wins this fight, which I don't think he will, you're looking at a title shot for one. Because that's what the UFC wants. They want fresh faces. You're looking at a title shot, and you're probably looking at maybe a future champion. I don't know. That's if he beats Brendan Royval. He's got to beat Brendan Royval, which I just don't think he will. Brendan Royval's in his last fight against... Oh, who did he last fight? Amir Albazi or something? Or it might have been my boy Steve Erceg. Anyway, in his last fight, he kind of beat the brakes off the other guy, all right? As I said, cardio, that good 1-2 down the pipe, pretty good at mixing things up. He's got a pretty good ground game, and he's just he's not number 1 for no reason. He is the number 1 contender for a reason, and I think he probably retains the number 1 spot. And this is his title shot fight. So if he wins this is his title shot fight. Same goes for Joshua Van. Like if he beats Brendan Royval, number 1 contender, maybe not straight away title shot. You might have to wait for the Beneil Cups and all of that, such on and so forth. But this seems to be a running occurrence in the bantamweight division. Is let's just launch these. No, I keep saying bantamweight, flyweight division. This is a bit of it's a rolling ball. Like let's launch these flyweights from number 8, number 10, number 11. Up into a number 1 contender fight or a title fight if you're Steve Erceg in his last 3 fights. So, thoughts and prayers to Joshua Van. I hope he's not rushing into this because I say the same thing about Steve Erceg. I don't think he should have took the title fight. I don't think he should have fought in that second fight against Brendan Moreno, and I don't think I think he fought Brendan Royval. If he fought Brendan Royval, he shouldn't have fought Brendan Royval. All right. I hope it goes well for Joshua Van, but I'm picking Brendan Royval here, all right? Might have did the deep dive there, but had to be done. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano, 10 versus 9, lightweight bout. Good to see these two back in the octagon. Moicano hasn't fought since the Islam Makhachev fight. And Beneil Dariush, I cannot name the last time he was in an octagon. Might have been against a Charles Oliveira. Not sure. Cool fight this. I'm probably going to pick Renato Moicano. He just seems like he's got a bit more gas behind him. I think Beneil Dariush loses this and retires, guys. I think this is Beneil's retirement fight. Hush, hush. I think if he loses this, it's gloves off because, where do you go if you're Beneil? You were in the spotlight for so long. There was title contention talks. Then it was a bit of a fall from grace. But yeah, Renato Moicano. I'm going to pick Renato Moicano here. Co-main event, Alexandro Pantoja versus Kai Karra France. Guys, this is probably one of the first flyweight fights I've been excited for in a little bit. All right, Pantoja, he's bringing a little bit of, decision aura to the flyweight division. I'm pretty sure Pantoja's last win was against Kai Sakura. Submission win, so, that is what it is. But Kai Sakura never was earned that title shot. Once again, flyweight's just being launched into title contention from nowhere. And the actual contenders sit around on their hands. Kai Karra France, I think this is his first ever title shot, guys. Well deserved. All right, coming off a big knockout win against Steve Erceg. That's who it was, guys. It was Kai Karra. It it was Pantoja, then it was Kai Karra France, and then it was Brendan Moreno. Brandon Royval never fought Steve Erceg. All right, I'm getting my flyweight history mixed up. But anyway, Kai Karra France, number 4 ranked. He's fighting Pantoja. Guys, right time, right place kind of thing for Kai Karra France. I think there was other guys out there that probably were standing in line, like in front of Kai Karra France, but just couldn't get there, couldn't sign the contract. Rada. Kai Karra France slips in. All right, Kai Karra France, Alexander Pantoja. I think a lot of you are probably expecting me to say Pantoja just because of how dominant of a champion he's been. But, now Pantoja has beaten who's, but like I've always said, man, Pantoja's got a brick shit house for a chin. And if anyone's gonna bust a pipe in a brick shit house, if anyone's gonna burst a pipe, need to call the plumbers, it's gonna be Kai Karra France, all right? He's gonna drop a big old dookie, overhand right, and break that brick shit house plumbing pipe of Pantoja's jaw. I don't know where I'm going with this, all right? But I think Kai Karra France has the KO power at flyweight to knock Pantoja out, all right? These city kickboxing guys, they have moments, all right? Izzy, winning the belt over Robert Whittaker, and Izzy knocking out Alex Pereira in the rematch. What else is Izzy? Cool things Izzy done? I'm not sure. But Volk, getting his belt back, and Volk, taking Islam to a 5-round decision. Rada. City kickboxing guys, man, they have big moments. And Kai Karra France has always been really close to having big moments. Don't get me wrong, he's had big KO highlight reels, but never a big title moment. I think this is Kai Karra France's time, right? Look, it'd be wrong of me not to back someone of Oceanic descent, an Anzac, if you will, of Kai Karra France, neighbouring country of mine. So I'm going to ride with Kai Karra France here, guys. It's been Australia, New Zealand, not New Zealand. It's been an Oceanic kind of year. Jack, champ. Alex, champ. Throw Kai in the mix, all right? Let's get Kai Karra France a belt. Whip it home, Kai. Do it for the Aussies. Do it for the Anzacs. Do it for the Kiwis, bro. I believe in you. I think he's got that boom, 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 boom power in his hands. Kai Karra. I'm picking Kai Karra France. The long-awaited main event, number 3 ranked Ilia Topuria versus number 2 ranked Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. For one, the continuation of a legacy. For the other, what could possibly be the end of an era. All right, and I'm not trying to get too. I'm not trying to get too deep for this one, all right? But Charles Oliveira has achieved some of the biggest milestones a fighter can achieve. Winning the lightweight title, defending the lightweight title, fighting for the lightweight title, losing it. Had some big moments in this guy's career, all right? He's getting up there in age. I'll admit, he's getting up there in age. Ilia Topuria, young, hungry killer, all right? He's killed all your favourite fighters. He's chinned my boy Volk, right? He beat the brakes off Max Holloway, mauled Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Hall. Beat up Josh Emmett for any of you Josh Emmett fans are out there, all right? It just seems to me like we're on the eve of Ilia Topuria's crowning. And that hurts me because I'm not the biggest Charles Oliveira fan, all right? I'm not dyeing my hair silver blonde and, learning a little bit of Portuguese for this fight. I'm not buying flags or anything, but I like Charles. I think he's good for the sport. He always has been, always will be. No one hates Charles. Let's just come out and say that. No one hates Charles. Everyone loves Charles, no matter who he's fighting, okay? Charles Oliveira here, guys. It just feels like the end of an era for Charles and the continuation of what will be, I think, one of the greatest UFC legacies of all time in Ilia Topuria. I am going to put my chips on Ilia Topuria, guys. I'm sorry. I'd love to pick Charles. All right, but I think Ilia. All right, and this isn't because I'm just like, well, Ilia is so much better. Ilia is a better fighter. All right, Ilia's just, oh, he's so great. He's so elite. Don't get me wrong, I think he is. I know he is, all right? But I've been here. I've been here before. I've looked at Ilia in a main event fighting for a belt, and I've sat there and I thought, yeah, I just think Ilia's not going to be good enough. I think Volk's just going to beat the brakes off him. Win the outside foot battle, jabbing him up. Yeah! And then look where that got me, all right? Volk, dead against the fence. And then, I sat there and I thought, well, there's no way Ilia does this to Max. He's not gonna beat up Max. Max is gonna be too quick for him. Max is just gonna duck and weave. He's not gonna be put up against that fence. Ilia's not gonna be a chance to put him up against that fence. And then the next thing I know, it's 5 a.m. in Australia, and I'm sitting there, cranked up on energy drinks, looking at Max's corpse. Never been knocked out. Now he has. So I've been here, and I've tried to root against Ilia Topuria. Okay, and it doesn't work. You set yourself up for failure. You set yourself up for disappointment. All right, you set yourself up for a bad rest of your week by betting against this man. All right, and I love Charles, as I've already said, but I'm picking Ilia Topuria here, guys, because it's a story. It's a 3,000-page novel I've read front to back more than once. Okay, so I'm well educated on this topic. So give me Ilia Topuria here, guys. He's just the man at the moment, and Charles just might not be. So that's it, guys. That is my UFC 317 Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira picks. And obviously, if you're looking at, Ilia will probably finish Charles. Kai by finish. Moicano by decision. I'm not going through and doing all these. You get the point, all right? Oh my god, a little bit of a belch. That's it, guys. That's the whole main card. That's all the fights. I've picked them and tipped them. I've given you my immediate thoughts on the card. Just before I go, I promised and I remembered that I'd touch on the Jon Jones news, all right? Because it's so huge. I might even make a video in and of itself. Will I have time for that? Don't know. I'll quickly touch on it here, guys. Jon Jones is officially retired from the sport. He's retired. Jon Jones has hung it up. And, Tom Aspinall is now the inaugural UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. 2 years we've waited. And here it is. Tom Aspinall finally champion. And they didn't even fight. And I seen a video there scrolling my feed of Tom saying that he'd retire Jon before they ever even fought. They fought, sorry. And look, man, how well has that aged? Jon Jones has officially retired. Look, I can see both sides of this. Jon coming out, is he ducking? I can kind of see the ducking thing. He doesn't want to lose. He's got one of the greatest legacies. As far as wins and losses go, I've got my own sort of standpoint, viewpoint, whatever, on Jon Jones and the wins that he's got. But, numbers-wise, stats-wise, wins and losses, Jon Jones has got a great legacy. Why would you try and put that on the line against a guy who he knows is a tough fight? Deep down in Jon Jones' heart, he knows that Tom Aspinall was going to be a hard fight for him. It was going to be a war. And then I can also see on the other side, I'm still on the same side. I can see where Jones is coming from. And he came out. He said he's old and he's hurt. Everything hurts, bro. Everything would hurt, right? 37 something years old, mate. Nearly 38. Everything would hurt. Okay, after a year of years of combat sports and winning at the highest level. So yeah, but then I can also see why was this not just the forefront? Why was this not the forerunner for the whole timeline of this Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall saga? Where was the maturity to not say, well, I'm old and I'm fucked? The Stipe fight wasn't good. I felt really bad. And I don't think I can beat this guy. Where was that? Anyway, I'm not here to talk the ifs and the buts or the whys, and I'm not much of a politics guy, all right? I'm here to admire the sport. So yeah. Look, guys, love him or hate him, Jon Jones, congratulations on an amazing career. arguably one of the biggest stars of the sport, if not the biggest star of the sport. And yeah, enjoy retirement, Tom Aspinall. Congratulations, you're the champ, buddy. All right, you got the target on your back, and I'm excited to see Tom Aspinall actually take some fights. Okay, because for a long time we've been under the impression, Tom Aspinall, man, he's a marauder, man, and now I think this is about the time we're going to see if that's true. All right, I know he beat the Sergey Pavloviches, but a lot of people have beat Sergey Pavlovich now, and I know he beat the Curtis Blades, but everyone's beat Curtis Blades. So this is going to be a test for Jon Jones. I know there's not too many killers, marauders at heavyweight, but it's going to be a test for him. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Fight IQ. I'm sorry I missed last week's. Not much I can do about it now. Like, subscribe, check out my socials, Instagram, TikTok. I've been posting more clips, highlights, reels, blah, 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 on there. And yeah, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Fight IQ. Deuces.